Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? Tom and Zeus. Another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast. We're now up to episode 41. We're calling this one Unmasked. Woo! Tommy, how the hell are ya?
What's up, buddy? Busy week, huh? Busy week for us. Woo!
I've been deathly ill. It's been a whirlwind week. Last week, all the festivities that we went through, and we'll get into it, a lot of it.
Yep.
And then I got sick as a dog, and I have been. I'm finally getting over it. I went to the Bruins game opening night on Saturday, sick, and then I was like literally in bed till like Tuesday. And, between that and work, and we did something on Tuesday, me and you.
Yeah, we had a great invitation from our buddy Jay from the Hook Rocks podcast. And if you're not familiar with his podcast, you should be. We'll talk about that. But if you do know the Hook Rocks, you know him from doing those awesome Twitter polls, all of his brackets. Right now, today we're recording on Thursday the 17th. He just started the Black Sabbath tournament. He was kind enough to invite us on to his show. We recorded with him Tuesday. We had a nice long talk. He's in the middle of having a couple guests on to talk about the state of rock music, what's going on with the future of rock music, how you can keep it alive, et cetera, et cetera. And me, Zeus, and Jay had a really awesome conversation. And according to Jay, that episode should be dropping on Monday. And I believe Jay can be found on Stitcher and SoundCloud, and he's working to get his podcast out on a bunch of other formats as well.
Yeah, it was an awesome discussion. And of course, how do we fit in all of this? Obviously, our love of rock and stuff. We were going to discuss, we're going to try to do like a Zepp deep cuts originally. But I listened to a lot of Jay's episodes recently and he was on a roll with talking about rock. And while I'm listening to him, all I can think of is that Gene quote, "Rock is dead and you, the fan, killed it." And we went off on the tangent with that, and that became our subject. And there was a lot there to unpack. Honestly, guys, you'll love the episode. It's a little more of a serious side of Shout It Out Loudcast than you'll hear here. But it was fun nonetheless, and Jay's an awesome host. He's got a great podcast. You guys got to listen to it. The Hook Rocks. He's always on online social media. Biggest is the Twitter polls that you see all the time that he does. And as we said to him at the time on his show, and we'll mention it here, when he was doing those polls, he reached out to us and asked us, "Hey, I'm going to do these polls. I know you guys did the Kiss March Madness poll. And I want to let you know, is that okay if I do one for Kiss?" Obviously, he doesn't need our permission, but the fact that he went out of his way to ask us and to mention us, and then he tagged us on every one of the Kiss polls throughout. That's a class act. Did he know us? No. Just a little interaction online, and he did that. We have another good friend of ours that just asked us about something. I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but the guys over at Parter Than Hell podcast, they just reached out. "Hey, we're going to try to do something like this. It might be a little similar to what this is. Do you mind if we do it?" Absolutely not. The fact that these guys do this, Tom, is just a testament to a lot of the people that we interact with in the podcast community.
Yeah, I think it just shows you, like you said, the podcast community, these friends that we've made. I mean, we communicate with them on Twitter and Facebook and messaging and everything, and we don't even know them personally. But like you said, just that kind of, camaraderie, I guess you'd call it, that community where, like you said, they don't need to do that, but, just out of, respect for a fellow podcaster, and like we would ever say, "No, we copyrighted that. You can't do that." It's just a cool community to be a part of.
We're going to send our Kiss lawyers after them.
Gene Simmons.
Cease and desist, my friends.
Yeah, exactly.
But then again, the whole podcast community has been awesome, but none better than our listeners. Shout out to you guys out there. So we've had a long week to get to where we are. Roughly around this point last year, we were still shooting the shit about maybe doing a podcast, me and you. What experience do we have on a podcast doing one? None. What contacts did we have? None. Nothing about electronics or whatever we needed to record a podcast. We didn't have any friends in the podcast community other than what we listened to, but they weren't friends. We didn't really interact with anybody really much. And then from that, a year ago, not even a year ago, and we just had our first episode in the beginning of 2019. We're not even a year old. We're basically about 10 months old. And what did we get last week?
Chris freaking Jericho. I mean, who would have ever thought that something like that could have happened? Who would have ever thought that we could have gotten that?
Yeah, look, and we don't want to shoot Jericho's fucking ego even bigger than it already is probably these days, because he's on a roll these days, buddy.
Yeah.
He's on a roll. He's everywhere.
Yeah, he's everywhere. And for him to take the time to sit down with a couple knuckleheads like us and get involved in a KISS draft, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah. So the whole thing didn't happen overnight, obviously. We had reached out to Chris quite some time ago. And you know what? He didn't tell us to fuck off.
Yep.
He interacted with us. We were trying to get this thing done for quite some time. Obviously, with his schedule, it's crazy. And then we came up with, he had AEW was having their second event up here in Boston. And instead of doing it he's like, why don't we do it in person? To say the least, we were like floored. He gave us that opportunity. Gave us tickets to see the show. He didn't give us just tickets. He gave us front row floor seats. When we walked in and saw, it was insane. Insane. The event was so awesome. I've been to WWE events. I've seen WWE and all those other shows for years. I've seen Chris perform since he was in WCW. I saw him when he first got introduced on the Y2J on WWE. I followed his career. I followed him from Fozzy. I followed all that stuff. To get to the point where he invites you to see one of his shows and you get to see him perform in person, I mean, it's really a dream come true. And I mean, it's a testament to his character and his kindness. And, it was just overwhelming. It was overwhelming. So, unfortunately, he had an event. His boss there was a birthday party for his boss. So, he's like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do it after the show. But, can we meet? We can still meet up, and say hello. So we took a nice photo. He's asking us questions like, oh, so what'd you guys do the podcast? When'd you get into them? Oh, I love that shirt. Like a regular guy. And that's how he treated us, and that's how we treated him. And I know I'm like maybe gushing over this, but it is a big deal for me because he's not just, a guy we have on to talk about KISS. He's like a hero, and I'm a big fan of his. And to find out that, they say don't meet your heroes. Well, he was even better in person. And then, he came up with the idea, we can't do it, but maybe we could Skype tomorrow. I've got this in between him being on Barstool Sports show, in between him going to a Vikings game, in between him going to the red carpet for the new movie premiere for Jay and Silent Bob's reboot movie, in between going on other shows. Yeah, I'll find time to do the KISS podcast with you guys. That's Chris Jericho.
Yeah, and I think it's okay for Zeus to gush a little bit because, like everything Zeus said and with the way we kind of prepped him in the episode last week. I mean, he, lead singer of Fozzy, huge band that keeps getting bigger and bigger, huge, massive podcast, Talk is Jericho, AEW champion. And for him to, grant us his time, his attention. And maybe earlier I called us knuckleheads. Maybe I downplayed us a little bit too much. Maybe I shouldn't be calling us that, But for him to take the time to talk with us, meet with us, have a serious conversation about Kiss, ask some questions, not be afraid to answer them, and participate in a fun event like our Kiss draft, one of our favorite things that we do. I think it's just, it just shows how down to earth, somebody as big as he can be with us. And, we're going to be eternally grateful for that moment with him.
Yeah. And the only thing he got in return was some awesome Click T-Shop shirts from us, given to us by Ed, obviously of Ed, of Click T-Shop, KLICKTEESHOP. And Ed, by the way, he loved the shirts. He wore it when one of the shirts while we taped our episode. Those shirts are fantastic. Ed's got that. We talk about it all the time. He's got that exclusive deal with the Eric Carr's family. Those shirts are limited time. They're awesome. I'm wearing one. I'm wearing the cat one, right? Cat, yep. Michigan, I think it is.
Yep.
The tail is up. And since Tom and I is Skyping, he can only see a portion of it. He says it looks like a nice phallic symbol coming up to my mouth.
Don't touch that.
Which is quite interesting, but I didn't know where his mind was going. So Ed at clicktshop.com. Go on there. You'll find so many good things. And you might even find some shouted out Loudcast merchandise that you might like. Maybe. Never know.
Absolutely. And also with Click T-Shop, Ed just started posting this stuff on social media. We've been retweeting it and sharing it. He just came out with a brand new design. It's the Paul Stanley Rose tattoo design. I don't know. We've been sharing that on Twitter and Facebook. So he's got T-shirts, hats, all of the products, and it's got that that Paul Stanley Rose tattoo that everybody knows of that he has on his shoulder. Just unbelievably amounts of cool designs. Yeah.
And getting back to our friend Jericho. So we did our Kiss draft, which to me was just like part of the time trying to be like, shit, are we Skyping here with Jericho here? But still concentrating on my list. And I liked it because I know I took the first shot at him by telling him that I think I told him that my favorite part of King of the Mountain is when it ends. And then he had some choice words for my Dance All Over Your Face and On the Eighth Day. He wasn't too fond of those songs. And I don't know is he joking? Did he not understand, or was he pulling my leg? I don't know. When I was like, yeah, Dance All Over Your Face. What do you think Gene's singing about?
He sounded legitimately like, oh, what do you mean? And then when you kind of explain, he's like, oh, I'm like, wait a minute. There's no way that Jericho did not know that. There's no way.
Dance all over your face. It's got to mean I'm going to jizz all over your face.
It's got to be. What else could it mean? And he was like, oh. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so through all the drama and all the stuff we were going through, I forgot to put up the pictures from that awesome AEW event. So I started putting them up yesterday. And obviously, since we're in the front row, we had some nice photos I got from online. When I watched the episode, I taped it and got to see a bunch of them. There was a great reaction when somebody lands on when I think Hangman lands on Jericho right in front of us.
Yeah.
And your face is like, oh my God. Yeah. And I wrote, oh, this is what happens after Jericho picks Let's Put the X in Sex. What I was trying to say, Chris, is you stole that from me since I like it, not complaining about it.
Yep.
And then he wrote Zeus. No, he wrote, I'm going to dance all over your face, Zeus, for that one. What the fuck? I don't know if you really meant you want to dance all over my face? I think the truth about, maybe he's right. The truth about him is coming out. I don't know.
Oh, great. There you go. Wonderful.
I don't know. He's the one who said it last week.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, please don't jizz or dance or do whatever on my face, Chris. I prefer you didn't. So, what do you got there, Tommy, about the episode?
So, are we covering the polls here, or what are we talking about yet?
You said polls? Go polls.
Yeah. So every week, every Monday, we do a poll that's related to our episode. So this poll was we each made up our list of 12 songs with the 80s Kiss draft, and we wanted to see whose list was better. Well, Jericho retweeted us, which in turn stuffed the friggin' ballot box in his favor with his fans, because the Twitter poll got 995 votes, okay, which is unheard of. Now, usually when we do polls, they're pretty close, or at least they're normal, numbers. So 995 votes, Jericho got 88% of the vote that his list was the best. Now, he had a good list. There's no fucking way 88% of 995 people think that. And, I'll fight Jericho on that. Maybe I won't fight him, but.
Dude, he had King of the Mountain on his list. He ain't winning shit.
And I think not only that, and I'll say right here for the record, I'm a huge fan. He had My Way on there, and I think I'm the only person who likes that song other than him.
And then he was insistent on playing the My Way without Paul Stanley, just Paul Stanley singing.
Because he's a vocalist. He appreciates that range stuff.
You guys are like, yeah, that's awesome. That's great. And I'm listening to him going, oh, my God, kick my ears.
No, you weren't doing that. You were pissing your pants laughing, trying not to have Jericho hear you.
Because he's looking at me through the Skype and he's laughing.
Oh, that was good. That was good. And then we put the poll up on Facebook, and Jericho won again. It was a little bit closer. It might have been like 60-40 or something like that. But that was kind of funny, the Twitter poll result.
Yeah, and the whole episode in of itself was awesome. We got a lot of people chiming in about. There are a lot of people like nobody picked Reason to Live, or another one that people were surprised.
There was a couple. Reason to Live was a popular one. A couple of the hits people were surprised. Somebody said No Crazy Nights, No Rise to It, No Reason to Live,
All Night.
All Night, and then I think it was a couple other comments. People kind of commenting on some deep cuts and. Just people generally commenting on the list saying, oh, I think Zeus's list is great, but I don't like this song. Or Tom's list came out great, but with the exception of this song. But that's the whole point of the draft is it's a mix of everything,
Yeah, and you sometimes pick songs early because you're scared the other person likes the song. And it really wouldn't be that high.
Right.
And then by the time you get around to the end, other people have taken your picks. You're like, all right, I wasn't going to pick this song, but my other picks in this area were gone, so I'm going to take this song. But if you notice, if you want to evaluate, we didn't really evaluate the picks that much. But like mine, if you can tell, I love Lick It Up.
You took six songs off of Lick It Up.
Can you tell?
Yeah.
So that's where I stood. I don't think I took anything from Asylum, or maybe one from Animalize. I think I took Under the Gun.
Yep. And I think
my head was at.
And I think I kind of got fried at the end and fucked up my last pick because we were kind of fighting with the last picks and we were kind of scrapping through. And I think I meant because I know this. I think I meant to say Thief in the Night off of Crazy Nights because I love that song. And I said Thrill. And I said Thrills in the Night, which is okay. It's okay. But
so you would have ended up with 7 Gene songs, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
7 Gene songs.
Because I had 6. I had 6 to begin with, which was the most.
I had 5.
And I think Jericho only had a handful because he's a Paul guy.
Oh yeah, he loves his Paul.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, and then just a couple other quick tidbits. Love, listen to him. And when he goes and talks about, we talked about Diet Kiss. Mm-hmm. And, and he's like, fuck you. I want to go listen to that band. If you don't think it's a real band, fuck off. You're not going to take away AC/DC from me when Axl can go on and do a great job because it's not your fucking AC/DC. And, the other stuff, and we were joking about is it real Kiss and this and that. And he is friends with Stewart. But he says, he disagrees with him on that. And the same thing with the Paul vocals. Like, fuck off.
And he had some great. He had some great insight with the Paul vocal thing, and he, and it was good, and it was it was refreshing to hear this kind of things come from him, and not just me and Zeus that we talk about all the time, but even Jericho has said he's like, look, Paul's 70, his voice may not be as strong, and I don't want I don't want Paul to sound like he's hurting. That's him singing. His voice and his breath is coming out of into the microphone. He might be getting a little bit of a lift. And he said, I got news for you. 99% of the bands out there are doing the same thing. And he referenced some bands that we've talked about, Def Leppard, some of these bands. But it's great. You're enjoying yourself. And
Stewart has been bragging about Def Leppard. Oh, Def Leppard's up. He's been seeing them recently in concert.
Yeah.
How come he doesn't mention about the live stuff then?
Because we've talked about that because it's
not
Kiss.
in his agenda.
Right. And because he's best buds with Joe Elliott and Vivian Campbell and those guys, that's fine. But just like, just like a political commentator, call it both ways when the shit happens because you sound like a fraud.
Yeah.
So
there's deficit problems when there's Republicans in office,
right,
as well as when there's Democrats in office, and there's homelessness when there are Democrats in office, not just when Republicans are in office. I know,
perfectly said. No,
right?
but that's exactly
those problems
right.
go away when it's your guy. So the problems of, I need to report that somebody's playing live and only live. Oh, but Def Leppard's playing. I'm just going to say it's a great show. Why aren't you saying, and when they're playing live, all live, it's 100% live? They're not.
Right.
But you're not making an issue then. But if it's somebody else, you can take your shot at Paul and Gene.
That's why it was nice to hear Jericho say that because, as much as we talk about it, I'd like to think Jericho has a little bit more pull and credibility when he's talking. So it was nice to hear that.
Yeah, and fuck Stewart anyways.
Pretty much. That's a good period at the end of the sentence.
And then the other part was I love this story about Vinny.
Oh my God!
Like to do your show, but for $10,000, he'll come on your show.
Yeah, and I like how he wanted to do like a pre-interview with Jericho. Like, so what's this podcast? What do you want to talk about? Yeah, well, maybe we can meet up later, and it's going to cost you $10,000. Jericho's like, yeah, see you later. Yeah,
well, I've got 150 people waiting for me in line, so I got to go. And
Vinny, Vinny, it doesn't look like you're doing any business. That's exactly what it was. Oh man.
Anyways, so let's try to steer the car back into the lane here. Where are we at? We talked about the previous episode. I guess we're going to go on to Kiss news. Any Kiss news?
Well, nothing really. I mean, the one thing that caught my eye was Blabbermouth once again does a great job covering Kiss. They had an article that came out on the 12th. It was like a long form a recap of an interview that Tommy Thayer did with an Australian magazine called Heavy Magazine, like a rock magazine. And it was a good interview. Most of the stuff was kind of cookie cutter commentary about the tour and things like that. And then a couple questions that were interesting. The interview asked him about the set list. And Tommy said, that's a tough one. You have to play the classics. You have to play the stuff that gets the biggest reaction. There's a dynamic to the show. We wanted to cover all the eras, blah, blah, blah. But I think the interesting thing that I really wasn't familiar with was they asked him about his first show with Kiss. And he says his first official gig was in Australia with the Kiss Symphony show. He had been working with Kiss, doing videos, and at that time they were having problems with Peter and Ace. He said, I was around. I ended up filling in on a few shows. He said that there was never really a moment when Paul or Gene said, hey, we want you to join Kiss. I don't even really remember saying that they wanted me to be the guitar player. It was just kind of like, Tommy, we're doing this. He's like, I think we were looking at the symphony show in a couple months, and they said, Tommy, you'd better start growing your hair again because you're going to be on stage. That was pretty much the way they told me I was in the band, by telling me to grow my hair.
Wonderful. He is a talented guy and jack of all trades, so glad to have you on board, Tommy.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. I know we've talked about this before, and he's wearing the Ace stuff. But if you can freaking grow up and get past that, he is fucking ripping it on this tour. I mean, he really is extremely talented, and he deserves credit for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, there comes a point in time that if the Kiss 2.0 continues, I would like to think that he's still in it, and maybe Eric is still in it, while they start replacing some people, give it some legitimacy. I'd rather they don't do that, but if they do, it would give it some because he's earned his place in there. He's been in the band for how long now? And he knows everything about the band. He's been part of their products and all their other stuff. And he admires the band as a fan before he got into the band. So I'll give him that,
No, agreed. Yep. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the Kiss 2.0, but that's a separate story.
Yeah, it's a whole different topic someday.
Yeah.
But other than that, are you ready to begin in our subject?
Yeah. Before we get into our review of Kiss Unmasked, let's take a short break, and I'm going to fill up a glass of pink champagne.
And we're back. Thanks for waiting. Clint Taurus.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That was a great one.
Oh, man. Good one.
Poor Red.
Poor Red.
So, our subject of today, it's album review time.
Yeah.
And the album is Unmasked. I'll give you a quick thought, Tom, about Unmasked, and I'll hand it over to you.
Okay.
When I think of Unmasked and what we're going to talk about on this, the album, the songs and everything, I think this is like the quintessential example of our differences, me and you. Well, where we rank these songs and what we think about this album is why I love doing a podcast with you specifically. And I felt when we did our picks last week, me and you were kind of opposite. Jericho was kind of in the middle, picking some songs that I liked, picking some songs that you liked, and vice versa. I think with this, people are going to be like, you're all over the place. I think this definitely shows our differences because there's going to be some love-hate about a lot of these songs. I put that out there, so take the ball, Tom, and run with it.
No, I think that's good. I think that's good to bring that up because I think when I think of this album, I think of how extremely polarizing it is. And it sounds like we may see that a little bit tonight. Another thing before we get into the album, when I think of this album or when I hear it or when I see the album cover or whatever, this is one of the few Kiss albums where I almost think of like the era of the band more than I think of like the music. It just reminds me of like what was going on at the time, and we'll get into that. But, those are my kind of initial kind of takes on Unmasked.
Yeah, it's definitely out there. I mean, you always say you like to start these album reviews with the, where did you get it? What did you think? What's your first memory of it? Let me tell you mine. I don't fucking remember this album at all. None. When I was young, obviously, I remember all the way through Dynasty, and then I stopped. Now, remember, I'm 46 like you. 79, I was 6 years old. So, I outgrew Kiss when I turned 7. Think about it, right?
Yeah.
Then, we've talked about this before. I got back into Kiss when I visited my cousins out in Michigan, Detroit. And I saw Animalized live. So I got back into Kiss from, I think at the time I saw Animalized live, Asylum was out. So Asylum and Tears Are Falling and stuff, I got that album. And then I heard Christine 16 in a store. And I went back to Love Gun because I remembered Love Gun. And then I remembered Destroyer cover. And I remember Rock and Roll Over. When I started getting back into the collection, I remember going, what the fuck is Unmasked? That must be when they took their makeup off. Because I didn't remember 83. I remember something maybe on MTV and stuff, but I was, it wasn't into Kiss in 1983. So I thought when I was getting Unmasked, must have been when they took their makeup off. Why else would they call it Unmasked, right? And then I saw it. I'm like, okay, when did this come out again? Huh? Wait a minute. This isn't when they took their makeup off.
Yeah, so... Yeah, everybody's got an interesting memory of this because it was that weird era in Kiss, and it was 1980 when the musical landscape was starting to turn. But I actually do have a very weirdly specific memory of this album. Not necessarily the music.
Oh, yeah?
The album. The album. So Zeus, you'll remember this. So, in 1980 when this album came out, I hadn't even turned 7 yet. Okay, I have a sister who's 4 years older than me. Yes. We were at the Meadow Glen Mall in Medford.
Were you at Chess King?
I had swung by Orange Julius and picked up some friggin' parachute pants at Chess King on my way to Wreck-It Town.
What was the other place at Chess King? What was the other place over there besides Chess King? There was another one.
Tello's? Oh, wait. You might be talking about Suit Yourself with the Iron Messiah?
No. Tello's. I remember saying that to Dell one time. He was like saying something to me. He was like, "Oh, fuck you, Zeus." I was like, "Oh, fuck you. Where'd you get that shirt? Fucking Tello's?" And he started dying laughing. Like, he couldn't even take the insult. He remembered that place.
I'm begging that at least one listener out there knows what Tello's or Chess King is.
Meadow Glen Mall. Did you get stabbed on the way over there?
So I go. So there was a huge record store in that mall. It was awesome. It was huge.
Was it next to Good Times?
No, Good Times wasn't there yet. No, Good Times didn't exist back then.
Where was Good Times then?
Good Times, that was near the Assembly Square Mall. That's where you went to get stabbed.
Buffalo wings are the best.
Exactly.
That fucking commercial. We used to know that by heart. The guy with the lisp and his mustache, his Dean Bill Barber mustache, going, "The Buffalo wings are the best."
Welcome to the local portion of our podcast.
Saturday night.
Oh yeah, it was all the
girls with hair going to the moon.
Girls. Oh God.
All the Revere Beach girls.
Ooh. that just
got it going on.
That just sounded like Herda. I don't know why.
Ooh, fucking! I almost called her nickname.
Don't do it. We gotta save that.
Why? What am I saving it for?
Maybe we'll save that for our 50th episode. Maybe that'll be the special gift.
What did I nickname Herda when she used to fucking annoy the shit out of me?
Not now. You can't. You gotta save it.
So close to saying it, too.
You gotta save it.
Fucking Herda.
All right. So
gross. Pick up off yourselves. Gross.
Can we get back on track here?
No.
Okay. So I go to the record store. It's 1980, and at that time, I had Double Platinum. I had Dynasty. I had some of the solo albums.
Syphilis.
So, not yet. I was only 7.
I had a bad back and syphilis.
I had a I took a terrible tumble. So the first thing I do is I go to the Kiss section. I'm like, oh, what's, flip through. And I remember seeing the album cover to Unmasked. I was like, oh, what the fuck is this? It's like a comic book. This is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I remember I flipped it over and looked at the track listing. I'm like, what the fuck? I've never heard of any of these songs. So I just put it back.
That's me. Same thing. I'm like, the fuck are any of these songs? These real?
Yeah, I'm like, I just remember I was like totally like enamored with the album cover, and then I don't think I actually ended up owning this until like way later on,
I remember getting the cassette when I got back into Kiss, buying the cassette, putting it on, in a big boombox, thinking, what the fuck is up with my boombox? The treble is way up. Like, where's the bass in this? It's like. It seems like this. It's like hissing, like there was something missing. Like the equalization, whatever the fuck it's called, was way off. Like, what the fuck is this? It doesn't sound like it's a rock album. What is this?
It just kept going. Kiar.
Those are the birdies that were biting at my horse's teeth. You know, wild bird feed. All right.
I'm tired.
I just remember looking at this and like, what the fuck is playing this? I'm like, this shit sucks. And
come on.
Honestly, I didn't get back into them until we both got back into really extremely back into Kiss back in college.
Yeah.
But before I knew you, and mind you, when I became a huge Kiss fan again, it was kind of on my own. Like a lot of friends listened to hair metal and all that other stuff on their own. But I didn't have that buddy growing up. It was like, I'm a Kiss fan. You're a Kiss fan. Do you like this? I like this. It was like Kiss was my number one band, but it was my thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to turn to somebody and be like, hey, did you listen to fucking Talk to Me today? Like, it until me and you met in college.
Yep.
And our eyes connected again.
Dropping the Dreamweaver soundbite there, Steven.
Yep. And then that's when I started trying to listen to this. That's my first thing about this album.
Yep. Okay.
You want to move on to the cover?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. The cover. You give your opinion first. Go ahead. Go ahead. Shoot.
I absolutely
Go ahead.
I absolutely love it. So anybody who's listening to this show, you know the cover. It's the comic strip. It's the band being chased around by a photographer trying to get their picture taken, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end, they take off a mask, but their makeup's on. But the thing that makes this cover, quote unquote, notorious, or that causes little people to get their fucking panties in a bunch, is the very last panel there when the guy says, I still say they stink. A lot of people think it's funny. A lot of people are like, why the fuck would Kiss put that on there when at the time people did think they stunk? I love the artwork. I think it's a creative cover. I will say that I think that last section there with the I still say they stink, I don't understand that too much. I think it's kind of fucking stupid, to be honest with you. But all in all, I love the cover. I think it's really well illustrated, and it kind of tells a cool story.
I started off the beginning of this episode, not the episode, but when we got into the beginning of this subject, telling everybody how different we are.
Yep.
So, here's example number one, right off the top. This album cover sucks. I think this is beyond stupid. I don't even think it's a good comic. Never mind the fact I'm not into comics, and I'm not trying to insult people that are. Everybody has their own niche, their own hobby, their own likes and dislikes. I'm not a big comic guy, but this could have done a hell of a lot better. First of all, the drawings look terrible. And I can tell the difference between, like Marvel or like what's the other one? DC. Or then there was that fucking creepy guy that did there's a big documentary on him, Crumb. His type of drawings and friggin' shit like that. It's like a mixture of the two. Like some look like graphic, some look like classic. It's all over the place. First of all, the storyline is just stupid. And in addition to being stupid, the fact is I am one of those people that say at the end of this fucking thing, I still think they stink. Yeah, you're right. You went from black and white, dangerous, the cover of Alive. You went to the cover of Alive 2 to this fucking comic book stuff. I still think they stink. You know what? All those fans that were watching that and listening to that music are looking at this going, yeah, you're right. They fucking stink. Why would you put that out there? So you think that they should not have put that on there? Absolutely not.
Right.
I don't think they should have done a comic book thing. Are you purposely trying to be even more like give those people that are pissed about Dynasty and all that other shit? If they just did the comic Unmasked and was just that last photo of them taking off the makeup and all that stuff, I think one fucking picture of that unmasked and it's them taking off and it's their real faces, real makeup behind the mask, that would have been pretty sick.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would have been a perfect cover. But I don't know. I think it's creative. I think it's a sign of the times. It was 1980. Look,
they're not unmasked, Tom. So what the fuck you calling it unmasked?
Well, I think that's the joke. That's the goof on the comic. Is that look, I don't know how deep in the woods we want to get into about what was going on with the band at this time, but it was the fucking ship had no rudder. I mean, for God's sake,
it's beyond stupid.
Right?
I heard it somewhere. Somebody on a podcast said it that I probably heard it. That like Paul was like, I think this is a fucking bad idea. Well, if he did say it, he should have fucking put his foot down and be like, you're damn right this is. But even if no matter what they do, no matter how badass the fucking cover looked, the album's still pussy-ish. And we'll get into that.
Well,
but you get my point, though, Tom? If they just had that last photo of them taking off the mask, it says gasp. Take the gas part out and just put that on the cover.
Or take the insert. Yeah, take the insert out. Take the insert and open it up.
Yeah,
it's like a frameable poster almost. It's a small poster.
So if this was the cover,
that would have been terrific. I think.
Yeah.
I think that would have been good. Yep, I agree. And even behind the mask, there's a quote, from Dennis Wollock, who has been involved with covers before. Victor Staben was the artist who did the cover. And he even said, I know it was kind of a bomb because it came out at a funny time where the music wasn't the best, but I think as a cover it worked great. Victor, the artist, said, I'm proud of the cover. Paul, Gene, and Ace came by my studio. They were really into what I was doing. Gene with his comic book background. I think this is an interesting quote. I recently found out that Kiss sold the original Unmasked painting at their auction for $14,000.
Yeah. Oh, well.
But look, I like it for what it is. I wish somebody would kind of explain the whole "I still say they stink" thing. I don't know if they're trying to be tongue in cheek, but the problem is people thought they stunk at that time.
I can tell you what that is. Because I saw a nice little YouTube clip video of one of our favorites, 11-year-old Mitch LaFon and his mother, it was really his mother, interviewing Gene. You can find that online, guys, 1980 video of an interview of Gene. And Gene was talking about the cover. And he says that the cover is basically like Scrooge is in Christmas. Everybody loves Christmas. Everybody does it. There's still one idiot out there that can't figure out why everyone else is having such a good time. That's what that guy is in that photo, he's saying. Everybody's enjoying Kiss. Everybody's going to have a good time. There's one miserable bastard out there saying that, he can't, what do you call it?
Enjoy himself
and get over the fact, that he's just a miserable bastard. And there are people like that. We talk about them all the time. And nowadays they have Facebook Kiss groups that they run.
Yeah, those people, they go to the toxic Facebook groups. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Star Wars Kiss wrestling fans. We know who they are. Love them, but they buy all their shit, but love to shit on them too.
Yep.
So that's what Gene was talking about. That's what this guy is. He's like Scrooge, who can't understand why everybody else is having a good time except him.
But I think you hit the nail on the head, Zeus, and forgive me if I'm repeating myself. I think that kind of joke would have went, it would have landed a little better if this was like on Rock and Roll Over or Love Gun. But they did stink at this time, so the joke is lost. You know what I mean?
But now in retrospect, they always do, like even in Extreme Close Up and also, Kiss has become a pop band. It's safe now to bring your kids and your family. Yeah, what makes you think that? Gee, by putting out a comic book cover? I mean, come on. In the music that you put out? Come on.
This was also that Super Kiss era where their costumes were more flamboyant than the Dynasty era. They were like,
ooh.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck was that? Just get a little fucking dance all over your pants there.
I had a little Star Child in my pants. So, yeah. Victor Staben did the album cover. Is that his name, Staben?
Yep.
Okay, so we've done the album cover. Now, the other thing about the album cover, if you notice, there's all fucking videos and conspiracy theorists about this. There's that big part where everyone talks about Peter is winking because the artist drew that because he knew that Peter wasn't in the band. He's not playing. And that's why he's winking. And then you also notice there's an X on his forehead.
Yep.
Like he's X'd out.
Yep.
And there's other things that people are like, oh, you see that? That's pointing to this. I don't know. But the winking and the X kind of do catch my eye.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that leads us to what I just said, which is, as everyone knows, because you're not listening to a Kiss podcast without knowing this, that Peter Criss was, according to the world, still in Kiss, but behind the scenes, he didn't play a lick on this album. He didn't sing a background track. He didn't perform any drum tracks. He didn't sing anything. It's nothing to do with this album. But in the Kiss world, to everybody else, Peter was part of this.
Right. And, just to kind of add a little bit to what Zeus said, we're going to try to stay on track here in terms of the album itself, and maybe in the future come back and get really into depth about this era of the band and what happened with Peter on Dynasty, what happened with Peter with Unmasked, and, how he was on the album cover, he was in the video for Shandy, Eric Carr comes in, we're not going to get too far into that because that could be a whole other timeline type of episode.
Yeah. No, and so the other thing about this album, if you notice, on the album, the LP at the time, that the friggin' order was like, I think, alphabetical.
Yeah, they did that a lot with a lot of their LPs did that. I think Dynasty did that. I believe, I'm not sure, I might be wrong about Love Gun, but I think Dynasty, the track listings on the backs of the LPs were different than what was played.
Yeah. So a fact that You're All That I Want is the last song on the album, just is by chance the last song. But on that side, it was because it's also alphabetically the last song.
Right.
But yeah, the tracks are all wrong on the back.
Yep.
Kiss performed a promotional video, which, as you stated, Peter was in that video. It's kind of goofy. They get in, they're leaving a stage, they're leaving their dressing room, getting on stage to perform, and some girl is just watching them, right? And then they go back to the room, and then they change into the clothes, street clothes, and then they look back at the end.
And they have their makeup on. Yeah. They have all their makeup on and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the story about that video, as everybody knows, is after that video was over, Peter Criss, took off his makeup, took all of his gear, and that was pretty much the end of it, kind of walked away from the band. Yeah,
it's a little more details, too. I won't go too far into it, but yeah, Paul, who probably at the time was loving it, was like, fucking see you, video's over, see you, Peter, whatever.
Yep.
And Ace, y'all get grab a beer, I'll talk to you later, Peter, probably. And Gene, who's very emotionally, he's very sensitive. Not sensitive like Paul's sensitive, like I'll never talk to you again. Meaning felt bad and kind of waited and sat behind. And remember, we talked about this in Kiss Second Coming. Him and Peter were close. They were roommates, and they had the same kind of personalities, both kind of wearing their heart out there sometimes on their sleeve.
Yep.
And I guess and Peter was behind crying. Before that, he had asked Gene, can I have your bass? You want this bass? You can have this bass. And he gave him his bass guitar. And then Peter's by himself, like crying when he left. And that was it. It's pretty sad.
Yeah, like you said, I think Paul was like, fucking see it. Don't let the door hit in the ass. But I think Gene, like you said, I think Gene looked at it as, you know what, this is the best thing for the band, but I'm going to miss this guy. He was part of what created what we are, and I'm going to miss him, but he has to go. But Paul's like a fucking sociopath. He's like, yeah, fuck off, dude. I can't stand you in this band anymore. Beat it. I don't care what you've done for us.
Yeah. Paul, I think it's one of those things. There are people like that are just like,
yep,
that's it. I've cut you off. I don't care if you're my brother.
Yep.
I'm not talking to you again.
Yep.
And they can do that, and it's kind of tough.
Yep.
But, I mean, Gene is not like that. Even in those videos after, remember we talked about and we'll get into this again. We'll do an episode about this era.
Yeah.
About the whole Peter, Eric transformation, right?
Yep.
And the kids are people too, and the kid like, where's Peter? What's happened to Peter? And Gene's like, oh, he's still friends. He says hi.
And the like, fucking and the Tom Snyder interview.
Yeah.
You all right there?
You lost me there. Wait a minute. Tom Snyder.
Yeah, remember that interview? It was right around this era when they were getting ready to fucking cut the cord. It was after Dynasty. It was right around.
Oh, you're saying that's when he was like, yeah.
Yeah, when Gene and Paul were pissed and friggin' Ace was shit faced, and Ace just kept laughing.
I remember the video. I didn't know how that correlated with
just the timeline of what was going on with the band at the time.
Gotcha. So, now Peter's out. So that means, they bring somebody else in for this fucking band. And basically it's Anton Fig, who, his fame later on came on to play in David Letterman's band. But he was the drummer for Ace's solo album, and he was also did most of the drumming on Dynasty.
Yep.
And
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No,
that's it. Go ahead.
no. I was just going to say at one point he was actually there was discussions about him actually joining Kiss full time,
which will be part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, being the new drummer. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll get into that at some point.
Yep.
But yeah, and so there is just we'll get in. I mean, you'll tell when we talk about each one of these songs. You know, the band is all over the place. It's not even a band. It's three. It's like everyone did a solo album and brought their solo album shit to the band, and they released it as Kiss. That's what it seemed like.
Yeah. Before we get into the track, let's go back to the CD, the insert where it has all the songwriting credits, because if you look, Ace Frehley's 3 songs, or 2 of the 3 are written by just Ace.
Yep.
One of them has Vinnie Poncia on it, and this is a Vinnie Poncia album.
Yep.
Okay. And if you look at Behind the Mask, some of the quotes from Paul and Vinnie, dude, neither one of them look too kindly on this album. They're each trying to pass the buck on each other.
Yeah.
Vinnie seems to be a little bit more forceful. And when we get to the track by track, we'll kind of talk about that. But if there's anything you want to, generally get into right now before we do that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it from the book, and we'll quote a lot of this stuff from the book. The comments are basically Paul gave it a 1 star and said it was wimpy. Gene gave it a 1 star and says group and album it's more. There are more than just songs to make an album. Ace says 3.5 stars. But everyone's going their own way. Vinnie Poncia is basically saying the album was rushed. Paul was writing the poppier stuff. It wasn't his idea to bring that stuff to the band. It was Paul's. Bill O'Coin was saying the band was actually considered taking the makeup off, but we, in quotes, talked them out of it. And then the artist also, Victor Staben, said that it was Howard Marks advertising gave him the script. And then Gene, just obviously being the comic book geek that he is, added some input. So those are some of the comments about the album itself.
And Vinnie Poncia had another good one here, too.
Go ahead.
He says, why did we do poppier songs on Unmasked? Well, those are the kind of songs Paul was writing. It wasn't my idea to come in and change anything. Paul and Gene have never done anything that they didn't want to. I think that quote right there speaks volumes, because throughout the quotes and Behind the Mask, it's all Paul being like, well, I tried to do this, but the album got turned into that, and blah, blah, blah. Fuck that. That's Paul's revisionist history. He's looking back at this album. He's probably not 100% proud of it. So instead of owning it, he's going to try to shit on everybody involved in it. And I'm sorry, we've ranted about Paul's revisionist history before. Just fucking own it, dude. You made this album at the time. It's what you wanted. It wasn't a hit. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's a huge, huge contingency of the Kiss Army, including me, who love this album. So just fucking own it, dude. And kudos to Vinnie Poncia for saying, like, no. Don't point the finger at me, bro. I was here to help you. I'm not in Kiss.
Yeah. I don't know. You take that point of view, and of course I'm different. I'll take the other point of view.
Okay.
I think that they may have wrote poppier song, but Vinnie Poncia made them sound poppier.
Absolutely. No, I don't deny that.
Let me just say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I had to try to listen to the drums, because if you listen to a lot of this album, you don't even realize there are drums on these songs.
Yeah, they're kind of snappy. Like they're not really
like a digital thing. Like, it's not a rock band. Did you hear the guitars a lot in this album?
On Ace's song, you do.
A little.
That's about it.
Yep. But there's no. This isn't a guitar rock driven album.
No, it's like a new wave pop album.
There are keyboards all over the fucking place on this album.
Yep.
Do you think Paul was right? Let's put keyboards here. I don't.
No, I don't. But I'll say this again, and again, I'm not.
Tomorrow may be poppier. I don't think he came in with or fucking easier than it seems. Easy as it seems. Excuse me. Is poppy. I don't think Paul came in and goes, yeah. You know this part in the middle? Make that a fucking keyboard solo.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
That may be true, but we'll say this again. Vinnie is not in the band. Paul is. So Paul, I just think it's kind of shitty.
Working collectively, Tom. They weren't working collectively,
right.
all of them as a band. They came in as 3 guys, because Peter's out.
Yep.
3 guys bringing their solo material in, doing their own shit, and go, okay, let's put this on an album. And at the time, all 3 of them, there were 3 equal partners now. Mm-hmm. Peter's out of the fucking picture.
Yep.
So Paul wasn't able to do his old shit. We're like, you know what, Gene? You can take the brand, I'll take the band. That's not going to fly. He wasn't doing that at this time. They were all part of it. This is 1980, so Gene is now starting to do the Hollywood shit. So Paul wasn't going to put his foot down now and say, hey, you've ignored us. So there you go. I think at this time, Gene brought his shit, Paul brought his shit, Ace brought his shit. All solo material. Nobody working on shit and bouncing ideas off of something. Remember, like we hear any other album review we do? Well, Paul thought of this. Then I thought I would do the bridge like this. And then we both connected on this. It's none of that shit. It's Paul's solo album, Gene's solo album, and Ace's solo album.
Yeah.
And they put it together with Vinny Poncia controlling it. And this is the shit that you get.
I agree with that. I do. I'm not going to deny the dysfunction. I'm not going to deny anything you said. The only argument I'm going to make here is that Paul lays it on a little thick. Of course,
I think he takes away any
responsibility.
Responsibility, yeah.
Yes.
I agree with you. But I think Vinny Poncier is not fucking... I don't care what Paul brought in. Do you think Eddie Kramer producing this album would have sounded like this?
No. I'm not letting Vinny off the hook. I'm absolutely not. This is a Vinny Poncia pop album for sure. For sure it is.
Yeah, and I also thought that they think, hey, Vinny, you got some pop credibility to your name. Mm-hmm. How do you get us to become like this? How do you get us to be this? And we trust you.
And I think it was a natural progression for the band from Dynasty to this. Whether or not it was warranted or needed or wanted, I think they went from Dynasty to this.
We'll get into the statistics and numbers and stuff released and all that shit, but a couple just overriding facts on this. I just felt this whole album, everybody was selfishly working on their own shit. Yep. It was a job. It wasn't the band anymore.
No,
it wasn't us Kiss. Now they all have their own stardom. They all went their separate ways when they're not together. And then they had to come in together and throw some shit together. They each worked on their own stuff, brought it back together. The big thing that sticks out to me, too, is where's the fucking Kiss lyrics in this? Where's the Demon song? Where's the suck me, fuck me, roll me over, kill me, then fuck me some more? There is none of that.
It's about as bad as Psycho Circus. There's none of that. I know what you mean. No, lyrically, it's a real wimpy, mushy, I finally found out what makes the world go round shit.
But everyone has that. 1 or 2 songs. The whole album?
The whole album
was like that. There's no fucking rocking song. We're going to party all night and fight against the system. Well, you can do it, Waterboy song. There's no fucking that, which is a staple of Kiss. There's no fuck me, rock me, blow me, do whatever me. That's a staple of Kiss.
Yeah.
There's no fucking anthems.
Nope.
None of that shit.
Nope.
None of it.
They're all lovey, huggy fucking songs.
Yeah. The lacking of drums, the lack of guitar rock, the fucking keyboards.
Keyboards are fucking brutal.
All these things in. And we talk about these a lot. And I say it to you all the time. I think it's a great song. It's a Peter Criss song. It's not a Kiss song. You may say the same thing about this whole album. These are great songs, but I'm going to say to you, you might think it's a great song. They're not Kiss songs.
Agreed. But I'm not going to.
It's a great album, but it's not a Kiss album.
Agreed.
And that's the part which is funny because this is, in the end, Rolling Stone gave them a 1 for this fucking 1 star, and I bet you that's what they were looking for. Let's make a pop album like this, and who's big right now? Oh, new wave, like the Cars and the Police, and so let's sound like that. Add a little like keyboard and less guitar, and this and that.
And before we get
people weren't happy about that, and all you did was piss off your fans.
And at the risk of getting further into the weeds about the history of the band at this era, I'll just say this before we get into the album. I think the fact that Rolling Stone gave them a 1 on this led them to make the fucking Elder right after.
Yeah, let's try one other way we can get them to like us.
Yep, exactly. Right? Yep.
So they went to disco, to pop, to concept album.
Yep.
And then finally back.
That's right. Yep.
So you know, this album, here they go. They bring Eric now, joins the band. They bring him out. They do the show in Palladium in New York, where they introduce Eric, and they did that one. That's the only concert they did in the U.S. for this album, because they were selling like shit. So the album was they recorded it January through March of 1980, produced obviously by Vinnie Poncia at the Record Plant Studios in New York City. Released May 20th, 1980. Reached number 35 on Billboard. Certified gold, July 30th, 1980. First album to fail to go platinum since Destroyer. Ouch. The singles were Shandy, Tomorrow, and Talk to Me. They did the video for Shandy, the promotional video for Shandy, and they did those two German TV videos, right?
Which are
one
awesome.
For She's So European, and one for Talk to Me.
Yep.
This was Kiss's eighth studio album at the time, and as we all know, and it's become legendary. The big thing about this is, they toured outside the U.S. because it did shit in the U.S. They toured Australia, New Zealand, England, Sweden, Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, Germany, Italy, and France. And the big thing is that this took off big in Australia and New Zealand, right?
They love it.
And there was the big thing about Shandy. There was some movie star named Shandy over there or something.
Shandy Cinnamon.
And that became a big thing for Australia. And so that whole 1980 tour in Australia is legendary, all that stuff they did over there. And those are kind of the stats in
and that
the channel stuff. Go ahead.
And that German video with Talk to Me and She's So European, that's on Kissology Volume 2. Yep. And it's really cool. I love the way the band looks in this era.
Yeah, I want to save that for each song.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah. But just generally speaking, because we brought it up. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I agree with you. And then you got anything else you want to add before we go into the tracks?
Well, before we get into the tracks, there was a clip on YouTube that it was a promotion for the album. It was like, I guess you'd call
wait a minute. You mean this?
That pesky photographer keeps trying to catch Kiss off guard. Ace and Peter are intercepted.
Hey, Kiss, look this way! Nuts!
Then he tracks down Paul at a restaurant.
Oh, shucks! Hey, Gene, over here! Darn!
But Kiss has the last laugh. Kiss Unmasked, the all-new album on Casablanca Records and Tricks. Kiss Unmasked. Available at Budget Tapes and Records.
Ooh, that made me want to run out and buy it.
The only thing that's funny because all that is, it's like the live action version of the album cover.
Yeah.
The photographer, and it's like, they're playing the songs in the background. They're trying. What the fuck? I don't know what to tell you.
Gene, over here.
Yeah.
Hey, get the fuck out of my face.
I know.
Hey, Peter. Hey, suck my fucking dick. Hey, I'm not Ace Frehley. My name is fucking Space Daily. Hey. I don't think you're allowed to be backstage to take our photos.
What was that, Stephen Michael from Growing Up Rock? What was that? What are you doing? What the fuck just happened?
I'm trying to do a Paul Stanley. It turned out to be fucking Stephen Michael Stanley. I don't know what the fucking.
See what happened, Stephen? I know you listen to this, buddy. He played George. Oh God, I just called you George.
Who?
Ooh, it's Zeus Unmasked. All right, let's get into this.
Just think of it. Oh man. All right, first song.
This 6-hour episode.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Is That You? Track number 1, which is incidentally a cover song. And I'm not sure how many people know that. I'm sure if you listen to this, you're a Kiss freak. You know that. But I think it's important to point out that that's a cover song because of that opening line, "Cats drooling on the bar stool." Everyone's like, "Oh, that's about Peter. Oh, he's making fun of Peter because he's an alcoholic." Well, no, it's not. It's a cover song. But Zeus, go ahead. What do you think of Is That You?
Yeah, that's a song written by a guy named Gerard McMahon, not to be confused with Vince McMahon. Did a demo of it, and Vinny Poncia was going to produce that. And he brought it over to Paul. And it's like, hey, listen to this. Why don't we do some of that? Paul did change some of the lyrics. He dropped a verse or so. And before, let's take a listen to it right now. As you can tell, it's a little rockier. It's got a raspy kind of voice. It's a little heavier.
Oh, very
guitar driven, right?
Very different. Yep.
Yeah. And so Gerard wrote it saying that he met some dominatrix at a bar and she wanted to go home with him or fool around with him or something. And he's like, fucking gave her the Heisman. And instead he went home and wrote a song about her instead of banging her. So, and that's where you got this song. What do you think?
Look,
this is ridiculous.
I like this. Look, you're going to hear this a lot from me. I like this song. I think it's one of the stronger songs on the album. I think it's like we talked, earlier, generally speaking, that it's not a very rockin' album, but I think this song has a cool vibe to it. I like the chorus. Generally speaking here, if we're going to talk about the album, I think all these songs, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, I think they all have extremely catchy choruses, for better or for worse.
By the way, they did the old clapping 80s thing.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Get no guitar drumming.
I think there's a couple songs in here that do that, but I like Is That You? I think it's one of the stronger songs on the album.
Yeah. At one point, he says, act your age. Doesn't he say earlier that she's 17?
I think so, yeah.
So what the fuck are you telling her? Act her age. Dude, she's only 17. What the fuck do you expect her to act like?
Well, and Paul's not very smart sometimes.
So, by the way, she sounds like a real nice girl, this girl, by the way.
Well, was that you crawling up my stairs?
Is that you looking halfway dead?
Yeah, exactly.
And all I can think of is, well, fuck you, half dead motherfucker. Friday.
Speaking of Friday, real sidebar here real quick, since you brought that up. My 15-year-old son was begging me to watch that, so we watched it together over the weekend. Terrific. Yeah, I'm a good father or a bad father, depending on what you think of that. But
Child Services, you can pick them up here after watching Friday.
Hell no. Fuck with your shit. Hell no.
I think the song could be rockier. Like, I don't even know if that's a word. And then I put treble. You knew I was off to a bad start. I'm like, what's wrong with this tape deck?
Yeah.
Something's not playing right.
Exactly.
So Is That You? I really didn't say anything. Paul does the guitars. Gene plays the bass on this, I think. Yep. And Anton's on the drums. I think Paul does the solo too on this.
I think so, yes.
Yeah. So you start noticing Paul does solos on his own songs too. So, I mean, it's all right. The song, it's okay. But, fuck, is this what we're doing when I hear this? Oh.
Really? Oh, wow, man. This is going to be oof. Okay.
Oh.
I was very hurt.
I don't know.
You have to take, let me just say this before we get into it. You have to take this album for what it is. Yeah, it's not Love Gun. It's not Hotter Than Hell. It's not Destroyer. But it is a Kiss pop album.
I would still probably pay the worst Kiss album over the best of anybody else's rock metal albums.
Okay, there you go. That's the answer I want to hear.
Okay. From that era.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play fucking The Elder over Zeppelin 3 for me. But you get my point.
I would.
But, yeah. But you get my point.
I know.
Now,
I know.
If I haven't committed suicide for playing something that would fucking make me want to blow my brains out yet, holy shit. Song number 2. He's just going to say this, and then you can take over. Murph. Go ahead.
Shandy. It's a fucking great song. It is a that Zeus.
That's what I think about the song is that coffin fit.
It's a great ballad. It's a great pop song. It's perfectly crafted. It has a catchy chorus. Is it a Kiss song? Probably not. No, it's not. But it is what it is. And I think Zeus's unhealthy hatred for this song, I think it means that he really likes it, and he just can't deal with the fact that he likes it.
Written by Paul Stanley and Vinny Poncia. Paul does all the guitars, including the, I don't know, I think he does a solo on this too. They put the roadie, Tom Harper, on the bass.
Yep.
Because Gene slept in. I think he was the guitar tech on Dynasty for them.
He called in sick.
Yeah, I just had a couple friggin' Egg McMuffins. Can't make it today. How old are we? How old are you? Gene's on the toilet. That's nice. Woo! Get the firehouse.
What's wrong with us?
Holly Knight's on the keyboards. Good old Holly Knight. And Anton's Figs on the drums.
Yep.
I thought the beginning of this sounds like, if you like pina coladas.
Yeah, but that's a great song, isn't it? That's a great song.
Not on a Kiss album, it ain't.
Well, okay, but that's what I'm saying. But here's a great line from Paul. Vinny's input at that point was taking us in a direction that we weren't comfortable with. Oh, what the fuck did you let him take you in that direction for?
I didn't want my uncle to take me to the back of the building.
Yeah.
But I guess I let it happen.
I didn't want to get into the back of that ice cream truck, but, I did.
Oh, yeah. Paul played the 12-string acoustic. Ooh.
Yeah, he played the fucking skin flute after this, too.
Said that the song got polished and neutered and took away from the heart of the song. Dude, it's your fucking song. You didn't have to.
Let me ask you this serious question. Do you think that this song ever had edge to it? I don't. I think it was written like this.
You know that ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
I can't even do it.
Yeah, I know.
Maybe
I know.
if you didn't have that, you know what it is? Honestly, I can't get over the name Shandy. I think it's like kind of like a made up, stupid name just to come up with something. Like the rumor was that it was supposed to from Bruce Springsteen's song Sandy, and he came up with Shandy. That makes me hate this even more. Like, call her fucking something. Donna. Fucking think of another name. Michelle. Call her something. Shandy's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. It just makes a song the fucking awful, god-awful keyboards. It's just so stupid. And it just makes me think of pop fucking ridiculous. Is this a Howard Marks song from the 80s?
Yes.
Horrible.
Yes.
Obviously, we talked about the video already, right, with Peter.
Yep.
Paul does the solo. And then you brought up earlier, you said that song is after somebody in fucking Australia named Shandy Cinnamon. Made the song super popular. I think it was a top 5 hit over there in Australia. And that's the only time I think they play it. That's how he ended up on a live force, because it's popular in Australia, and they played it in Australia for the concert.
Yep. Yeah. I like it.
And Tom Harper got $500 to say he played on Shandy.
Oof, that's $499 too much.
Yeah, it's just fucking. And Gene refers to Tom as the guy who played on Shandy, played bass on Shandy. It just, dude, this is just, like I said, Howard Marks, Paul Young, Culture Club. That's what it sounds like, a Culture Club song.
I love Culture Club.
Oh, coming up next is Karma Chameleon. After that, Shandy.
Dude, come on, I'll tumble for you.
I'd rather listen to fucking Tumble for You. Awful song.
All right, move along.
Awful song. Oh, terrible. Next is this song from Ace. Talk to Me.
Great song, dude. I love this song. I love all of Ace's stuff on here. 3 songs on Dynasty, 3 songs on Unmasked. It's a great song. I mean, it got wussified because it's on Unmasked, but I like it. I think it's a well-crafted song. I like it.
Ace plays all the guitars and bass on this, which is what we were talking about. Everybody brought their own shit in. Nobody kissed this album. Like, they didn't kissify an album or the songs. It was like, here's my solo shit, here's your solo shit. It's not a Kiss album. Ace says the song came together quickly. But yeah, no shit in the shows. By the way, can you please somebody count how many times he says the word talk?
Oh, yeah, the song never ends. At the end, he just says, talk to me 10 billion times.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
I mean, the verse, chorus, verse.
Yep.
It's just, what the fuck? Especially on this song. Talk to me. At some point, you're like, fuck it, I'm already talking and shut the fuck up. Oh, my God.
I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this again. I said this to you earlier.
Yeah.
Do you even like Kiss?
Not much. The funniest thing about this song is the video.
Oh,
Watch the video.
Go ahead.
What am I going to, do you even know what I'm going to say?
I think so, but I want you to, you go ahead.
Okay. Gene is like standing up next to Paul. What is this? Talk to me. He's like fucking humping his bass standing up. Looks like he's like literally like a dog, like fucking humping a leg. He's fucking his bass.
Yeah.
What the fuck is he doing?
He probably had nothing else to do. He's like,
talk to me. Talk. And I can
like,
picture him fucking his bass, like with a hole in it.
And the song is like terrible. Yeah, please let me do something.
Guys, watch the Talk to Me video and look at Gene and tell me if he's not got a hole in his bass guitar and he's fucking it while in the video.
That's wrong.
It's enlightened, but I'm just telling you my opinion. It looks like he's fucking his bass.
Maybe he is. What else was he going to do during the video?
You know what he's going to do? He's going to write a fucking song like this, and this is song track number 4. Hit it. Written by Gene, Vinny Poncia, Bob Kulick, and Pepperoni. Pepperoni?
No,
Pepperoni
Pepe Castro.
Oh, I thought Pepperoni wrote it. No?
Pepe Castro.
Bob Kulick plays the guitar solo on this. It was Bob's riff, really, that started this. And then he gets a little critical of the song. He says Kiss ruined the song. That was from Behind the Mask, right? He was saying that Kiss ruined the song. The demo was heavy, and they got turned to pop. Said Ace could never play that guitar phrase like I played it. They compromised the song by having him play on it. Ooh!
Well, that's
shots fired.
That's what I was saying. When you read this section on Unmasked and Behind the Mask, all the quote, there's nothing good going on during the recording of this album. Like, Ace is the only one who's like, yeah, I fucking like it. Like, everyone else is like, dude, this fucking blows. Like, what's going on here? Like,
it's not a Kiss album. It's fucking a collection of demos and solo material.
Okay, so what do you think of Naked City?
I like it. I like it a lot.
I do too.
Gene says it's about New York City and some of the old TV shows called The Naked City. I like the lyrics. I like the mood it gives. It gives a certain vibe.
Yeah.
Is it a big rock song? No, but it's decent. Yep. And on this album, it sticks out for me. I like the falsetto he gives. Oh, the women with younger men. Yep. Right? I like that.
Yeah, no, it's got a good chorus. It's one of the rocker, quote unquote, rockier songs on the album for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a very good song. I do.
Yeah. Yep.
You feel the same?
Yeah, I like it.
Perfect. Let's go to song number 5 and find out what makes the world go round. Paul Stanley, Vinny Poncia. Paul plays all the guitars and solo. Gene does the bass. Vinny Poncia does the keyboards, and Anton Fig the drums. What do you think?
This is kind of a dud for me. Not a huge fan of this one. I think the chorus is kind of The verses, this is one that I'm not too crazy about.
I will tell you this. It does a lot of the verse, chorus, verse, but it's a Paul Stanley chorus. And if you listen to this song and you turn it off and you don't have it in your head, I found out. Oh my God, it sticks in your head, like it or not.
I think that's the case with almost every song on this album, whether the songs are good or not. Like I said earlier, all their choruses are extremely catchy and memorable.
Yeah. Paul says it, and he admits that it veered into Vinny Poncia style too much. I think Paul did a good guitar solo on this, though.
That's okay. Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah, Vinny Poncia says that Paul was coming into his own about his songwriting, and he felt that on this song, like this in a couple on Dynasty, gave them credibility as a songwriter.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, exactly. But the one thing about this song is it does like get to the chorus. The chorus is a little bit different than the verses. But when I found out, all I can picture is Paul in the shoulder shake dance.
Oh, totally.
Like shaking the shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what I think of? I think of the fucking clip of Borat in the village dancing with the male.
Oh, dancing with when he's doing the
No, when he's doing the shoulder dance, like one shoulder with the other guy.
God. Yeah.
I can totally picture the two guys dancing to this song with their shoulders in like this.
Okay, so you know what that means?
What?
That means we have an assignment for our buddy Daryl.
Oh, find the Borat clip?
Daryl, get on it. Get Borat dancing to What Makes the World Go Round.
Yeah, with him and the guy in the village doing the shoulder dance, dipping the shoulder in, dipping it out. Oh my God, that's what I think about when I think of this song. I like the song though. I do. It's catchy, very catchy.
Yep.
All right, the complete polarization of Kiss and our taste. That's coming up now. Number 6, Tomorrow. Let's hear it.
Let me just say this: one of the all-time great choruses in the entire Kiss catalog. Awesome song. Great song. I know you're not going to say it's not a Kiss song. I hear a lot of people, if you listen to some other podcasts or you do some reading, a lot of people like, oh, if somebody else took this song, I've heard people reference, somebody like Rick Springfield, a pop rock artist, take this song and turn it into a monster hit. I think this song has hit capability. It's unfortunate it was done by Kiss at this time. Great song, awesome chorus. How can you not? You think What Makes the World Go Round has a catchy chorus? Oh, this is even better.
You're fucking on drugs. This song sucks. This song is terrible. It's annoyingly bad.
You as Michael Scott in The Office would say, you are a thief of joy.
That's right.
That's what you are.
Tomorrow, written by Paul Stanley and Vinnie Poncia. Paul does the guitar and bass. I think Ace does the solo on this. I'm not sure. Anton Fig is on the drums and Vinnie Poncia on the keyboards. That's all I have to say. And all these songs, when I say Vinnie Poncia on the keyboards, is like put a fucking gun to my head and a lot of Kiss fans' head.
All right. See, let me just say that you're analyzing these songs incorrectly. I'm going to say that you're wrong.
I'm analyzing by the way they sound, and they sound like shit.
I don't think you are analyzing them by the way they sound. I think you're analyzing them by what's behind the song, like who wrote them, who's playing the instruments. Like, just open up your ears, jackass.
I am, and there are keyboards in this song, and it's not a fucking Kiss song.
So okay,
I'm not listening to a song by Chicago. This isn't Hard Habit to Break, where I'm like, no, I don't need the fucking guitar. I need Peter Cetera's voice and a keyboard. So no, this is Kiss. This does not go with it.
A Kiss, Brazil, new Kiss.
First of all, the song sounds like, honestly, it sounds like fucking Time Warp. I thought this was the fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show. I was waiting for Paul to come on in the middle of this and go, I'm a sweet transvestite. Holy fuck, it sounds like Time Warp in the beginning. What the fuck is this? What am I listening to?
I can't,
my God.
I don't think I've ever anticipated an episode being released more than this, because I can't wait for you to take a beating.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Who's going to tell me that this album is great? You and your little minions? Your minions of fans? Who? Brian Harris? Your fucking biggest, the fucking Tom Gugliotti, as Sonny would say, fan club president?
You're just mad that you're just mad that we'll see what happens on Saturday.
You can take Brian. I'll take Jack Broad, and we'll have a fight. How's that? And you can take David Caffey, and I'll take Deuce, and we'll have another fight, and we'll kick your asses.
Jack Broad doesn't like anything. I know he's listening right now. He doesn't like Hot in the Shade. He doesn't like. We posted something today.
Actually, I think 2 of the 3 that we mentioned just now are on their honeymoon and got married. So congratulations to those guys. Awesome guys as it is.
Yeah, fuck them and their Kiss hatred.
They just got married. Have a heart, you fucking bastard. Anyways, this was another one that was originally supposed to have more guitar, but probably fucked it up by Vinny Poncia.
Oh, man.
Do you remember how many times in college we would say something, and then once in a while we turn to each other and go, "Oh, Vinny Poncia." He was a running joke for us.
It was a punchline.
Yeah, exactly. And then, okay. Then there's the clapping.
It's awful. I know. It's awful.
Is that? And we said, "Let's go. Boom, 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 boom. I like the nightlife, baby."
Yeah.
That's clapping.
Yeah.
In a Kiss song.
Yeah. Oh, so you
fucking new wave Cars fucking shit. Now, I like the Cars and stuff, but let them play that music. What the fuck is clapping doing in a song?
You know what's funny? Before we move on to the next song, so tonight my wife asked me, what are you guys talking about? What's the topic for the week? I said, we're going to be reviewing the Unmasked album. And I literally said,
she was probably like, "Oh, I like that album," and I'll say, "That's right, because you're not a Kiss fan."
Oh, here we go. And I said to her, and I guess I'm learning. I said to her, I go, "I don't think Zeus likes Unmasked."
You don't think?
I did not know that you had a vehement hatred for it like you do right now. This is unhealthy. Move on.
It's a Kiss album.
Yeah.
Still decent. I'm just saying comparing to the grade of other great Kiss albums, okay? But before we move on, do not tell me that this song should not be the title of a TV show in the 80s, of a romantic comedy. And tomorrow we're gonna... It's like, I'm pitching that as like the Who's the Boss fucking like before the credits. Like a couple that's supposed to fall in love. Moonlighting.
I'll take it.
Right?
Great show.
Right? Don't you pitch this as a rom-com like theme from the 80s?
Well, it looks like you just gave Daryl another assignment.
Well, it doesn't look like you're doing any business now. Joni Loves Chachi, something like that. Like
Which, by the way, remember when we were talking about All Systems Go, and you were talking about how Vinnie Vincent was writing music for Joni Loves Chachi? I don't know how I missed this reference before. Did you ever hear? We're going to veer off. This is going to be like a 6-hour episode, but I don't care.
Go ahead.
Do you remember the controversy that came out with Joni Loves Chachi? Yeah,
Joni Loves Chachi. What the?
All right. Just real quick, before I veer off here. So when we talked about that, so I don't know if you remember the controversy with that show. And
As I said to you, was he like finger banging her in the fucking the tool shed? What?
No. But when that show
somebody dropped the Cleveland Steamer on Potsy in the middle of the show.
No, when that show aired overseas, I don't know if it was in China or Japan. Apparently, chachi is like a slang word for like cock or something. So I'm not kidding. Somebody out there verify this. That when overseas the show meant Joni Loves Cock. I'm not making that up. But anyways,
she was drunk off a cock.
Oh, there's a deep cut right there.
That's a deep Stonehill cut. That was from a porn. I went to Montreal with Philbo and them.
Yep.
This is freshman year.
Yep.
And when we went there was like a sex store in Montreal.
Yep.
And I got John Holmes' Greatest Hits on VHS. The cover of the fucking thing was his dong full hard, remember? And it was like curved up, so you could like fucking barely. All his cover was like the big cock. And on the back had different stuff on it.
Yeah, it looked like your T-shirt you're wearing.
yeah, a big schlong. And I'll never forget it. And we were all watching it like horny fucking freshmen. And there was a part in it, he was banging Tracy Lords or something like that.
That's what it was.
And then one of them was like, "Oh, I was drunk off of cock."
It's a good thing.
I took the fucking cover off. And it was like fucking parents' weekend or spring weekend. I threw it in the fucking hallway like an asshole because I knew my parents weren't visiting me that weekend. And parents were walking by. I remember like going, "Ah!" And the wives were like, "What the hell is that?" And the guy, our dads were like, "Ah, looking at it." John Holmes' curved cock. What?
Our dads were probably walking down the hall going, "Oh, I have that one too."
Oh God! And it's always me doing something stupid, thinking it's funny. Like, here you go. Don't stop.
Oh, God.
Anyways, let's get back to getting drunk off of cock. So you were talking about Joni Loves Chachi, and I told you that tomorrow should be on the cover, should be the theme to one of those 80s rom-coms.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, God.
Right. All right. Let's go to number 9. Ace wrote that song after listening to a Kiss podcast. Well, a good friend of mine told me that, you know, Ace played all the rhythm and lead guitars and bass. I got a poster of it. Anton Fig plays the drums. I put that the drums are pretty good on this song. Ace says he was cheating on his wife. So 2 sides of the coin, or his girlfriend. I don't know. Maybe my wife wasn't involved at all. I don't fucking remember. What the fuck? It's such a bad.
That is such a great quote.
Oh yeah.
The song's awesome. Ace's songs kick ass on this album.
Now I put that the drum solo is the only good drum song on the album. There's a drum solo that goes along with the guitar solo.
Yeah.
You know, it's just stupid lyrics.
Oh, absolutely.
Stupid lyrics.
Oh, they're not as stupid as another song that's coming up, though.
Oh, my God, yeah. But, yeah, it's a pretty good song. Yeah. That's my opinion. A friend of mine told me, you're up.
Why? Oh, God.
I can make Tommy laugh with that shit all day, right on cue. Talk about 2 sides of the coin.
I think it's one of the strongest songs on the album. I mean, I'm on record as saying that I think Ace's songs are the things that really saves this album from being a complete and total sinking ship. I like the album, but I think generally speaking, I think Ace's songs save it.
I love the chorus.
Yeah.
And the chorus was written for you people to enjoy. So enjoy the chorus.
Who said that? You? What did I just miss? Well, Zeus is laughing hysterically right now because apparently I missed something.
Some people are just like animals.
Oh.
And it can be written.
I got it.
For you to enjoy.
Oh, God.
I love the chorus. I think the chorus is awesome.
Yeah.
But it's, verse, chorus, verse. What makes the world go round? 2 sides of the coin. Tomorrow.
Yep.
A lot of that shit on this album, but it's good shit if you ask me. Talk to me. Good song. Good Ace song.
Yeah, agreed.
Hey,
yep.
God, come on, buddy. Can't you can come up with better lyrics?
No, he can't. He can't.
Because there's nobody to fucking help him go, Ace, come on. You got to do better than that, buddy.
Who's going to help him? Fucking Vinnie Poncia on this album?
But like if Paul and Gene were more, everything was hands-on instead of just going, hey, we're going to do this. Here's the music.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's just whatever.
I hear you.
Well, all right. Let's move on.
Next one.
Number 8. She's So European. Led by Gene Simmons and Vinnie Poncia. Paul plays rhythm guitar. Ace, I believe, does a solo. Vinnie on keyboards. Gene on bass. And Anton on the drums. Go ahead.
It's not one of the better songs on the album. It's it's just not that good. I mean, look, I said this earlier. All these songs are catchy. It has another kind of catchy chorus. It's just not one of the stronger songs, in my opinion. I still like it because I like pretty much everything on this album, but it's one of the weaker songs, in my opinion, I think.
All right. For me, when we did our smashes, thrashes, and shit, I think I put that on here. I have since seen the video.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad.
I've seen the video a lot more.
Yeah.
Just like Love 'Em, Leave 'Em made me fall in love with that song more. I actually starting to like it. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? How do I like this song? So I've changed my mind a little about this, and I always laugh about the me and you will go back and revisit smashes, thrashes, and shit at the end of this podcast. Not this one, but the whole podcast, and go back and go, I bet you we've changed our mind on a ton of shit. I like it. I like the verses, the chorus. You know, Gene says it's about a girl he imagined he'd meet in Europe. You know, so, but Vinny Poncia talks about, Gene can write songs that don't have to mean anything. There's no bearing of his soul. Yeah, no shit. You never realized that? It doesn't have to mean it. It's just like these words rhyme. This is a good hook. That's a song.
That's it. Yep.
This I put is the closest thing to Dirty Kiss, right?
Probably. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's the one that has like the least lovey, huggy lyrics.
Yeah, I like the bridge in this. I like the chorus. Gene screaming at the end.
Yeah.
Keep that note. Gene's got some talent as a singer.
That boy's got talent.
And again, Gene, her parents are still away. Dude, what the fuck? Who are you banging, Gene?
He's a pedophile.
What the fuck are you banging? Parents are still away? At this point, you're like 30.
Yeah. He's
doing this song. If I'm talking about a girl, dude, hey, I'm going to hook up. This is like most of us were married by this time at 30. If I said to you, oh, dude, parents are still away. I'm going to go over meet my girl. You're like, parents are still away, dude. You're going to get arrested.
Every song he has, every album. Yeah, you're right. This is probably like the dirtiest song he's got on the album.
And the funny thing is about this is at the end, he tries to get this to rock. And he's trying to be like, she's so good. His fingers up like, dude, this is the worst fucking chorus. Like the lyrics are so awful. You're never going to get a crowd of fucking people not singing, fucking like, you know what I mean? Like, you got another thing coming, like rocking out the hands up. No one's going to go, she's so European, rocking out. Gene, it's not going to happen.
Maybe people in Australia, and I think we have some Australian listeners, tell us if people rock out to She's So European.
Yeah. But overall, I hate to admit it. I like it. I like it. I'm swimming in raw sewage. Number 9. Let's go.
I like this intro. It's like fucking a disco version of Copacabana. With the fucking bongos and the bass and the drum. It's got a cool dance beat. That being said, it's not a very good song.
Paul Stanley and Vinny Poncia wrote this. Paul plays the rhythm, the solo, the bass. Anton's on the drum. Vinny's on the keyboard in like congas or something.
Yeah.
There's a fucking keyboard solo in a Kiss song.
Yeah, that's disgusting. That's real bad. Yep.
There's a keyboard solo in this.
Yep. Yeah, not. It's one of the weaker songs on the album for sure.
Paul said he wrote this while he woke up at his girlfriend's house singing this song, but didn't think of it as an actual Kiss song. Yeah, then why'd you put it on a fucking Kiss album?
Because they were lazy at this time. They were lazy.
Fucking shit.
Yep. Yep.
And then the keyboard solo sounds. I put like a little like doo 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 doo. I go doo 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 doo, and he bite my eye.
Oh, here we go.
Poison eye.
Louis Rocco.
And he punched my tooth in my pants unbuttoned.
Oh God.
The lyrics. Paul sounds like a chump. I want to find out why you're cheating on me with one of my friends. I want to find out why you do. Dude, you're a pussy.
He sounded like
what's this?
He sounds like that on pretty much the whole album, though.
Dude, you sound like you're Paul. You write about conquering bitches and getting all sorts of shit.
Yeah, this song is a long stretch off from "Put Your Hand in My Pocket and Grab Onto My Rocket." You know, it's a far cry from that.
You really like My Limousine.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, why are you cheating on me with all my friends?
It's easy as it seems. I was very hurt.
Yeah, this song sounds like something just so wimpy. The beginning, it's just like 80s, like English rock that would not even rock, like 120 minutes, like English music in the 80s with those cheesy videos. Remember that band? What was it? There's something about you,
Level 40, level 42.
That's what I think of in the song when it comes on.
Yep.
Level 42, UB40, Culture Club, Crowded House. That's what I think of.
Well, that's the era. Yeah.
No, that's fucking Kiss.
I know that.
It's nuts.
I know. Dude, you're going to have a fucking hemorrhage here. Slow down. Jesus. Oh, here we go.
I talked to a collector and I got this poster. Song number 10.
How can you not love this song? The lyrics are hilarious. The way the song starts off with the battle station torpedo. Wah, wah. The song's awesome.
This song wasn't meant to be funny.
I don't care. I think it's funny. I don't care. Of course it was meant to be funny. I like Ace's line. He goes, I listened to that the other day and I was on the floor laughing. It was hysterical. It's probably the funniest song I ever wrote.
Yeah, don't take himself so serious like Paul and Gene giving themselves a heart attack.
Yeah.
Vinnie Poncia said Ace wanted a rock element to remain on the album, not be too poppy. Vinnie helped him with this one. This has the worst of the three lyrics. When I put that these lyrics, Torpedo Girl, make two sides of the coin sound like Imagine.
Oh, come on, man. What the fuck?
Oh, these lyrics.
Oh, they're awful, absolutely, but that's the fun of it.
He's swimming in the bay with the submarine in it? What the fuck is that?
He doesn't know. Ace was barely sober at this time. He was maybe he was just shit-faced.
And then all of a sudden you heard a rumbling sound. Bloop, 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 bloop.
You want jacuzzi, you fought the tub. That's exactly what it was.
I already had a fucking breakdown last time when we talked about Torpedo Girl, about some fucking 250-pound deuce swimming by and dropping one along the way.
That's pretty much what it is.
Woo!
Oh,
Torpedo
man.
Girl. She left a torpedo on the deck.
Oh, God.
You know, the cheesy special effects in the beginning. Man, battle station torpedo.
I love it.
It sounds like, hey, man, battle station torpedo. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
Could
great
be.
lyrics. Great lyrics. Come on.
Come on, get your feet wet.
Exactly. That's the best.
Oh, my God. Ace did all the guitars and bass on this, and Anton did the drums. Again, Ace bringing a solo song the other guys had no part of.
Yep.
Same theme running throughout this.
Yep.
Oh, Torpedo Girl. Oh.
You know, another thing, too, you got to wonder, did the band, did Paul and Gene let Ace have 3 songs on this album because they're like, oh, those are good songs? Or did Paul and Gene be like, oh, yeah, you know what, that's good. That's 3 less songs we have to contribute to this piece of shit album.
Or, hey, Ace is hot right now. Let's ride it.
That's what I mean.
Ace his solo album did well. Fucking fans are liking Ace. Let Ace come up with a couple songs.
Right.
I don't know. Good point, right?
I don't know.
Could this be a dream?
I don't know. All right.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Song 11. Here we go. I think I know what you feel about this song, so let's hear it.
Okay.
This song, You're All That I Want,
Yeah.
written by Gene Simmons and Vinnie Poncia. Gene does the bass and rhythm guitar. Paul does a solo. Anton on the drums. Gene said the song, he started this in 77 around Love Gun. And that the song came out, obviously on this album.
Yep.
But go ahead. Tell me your thoughts.
Well, my problem with this song is that I think the choruses are kind of lazy, and then I think the verses are just kind of like it's a weirdly tempoed song compared to the rest of the album. And the chorus on this, it's like you're all that I want. It's just kind of like a plodding. Even the other songs on the album, even if they're not great songs, they all have some kind of rhythm. They have a catchy chorus. Like I think this song just kind of plods along, and then at the end, you get like the ghost of Paul Stanley to come in and save the day. You can hear it. It's like
the Star Child.
It's like an echoing Paul Stanley of just him like kind of wailing in the background. So I think it's
an echo kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, as I said when we started this album, that me and you are in difference of opinion. I think this is one of your least favorite songs. I don't know yet. We haven't done our numbers. this is by far my favorite song.
Oh my Lord. What
I
the fuck is going on here?
love this song. I love You're All That I Want.
Unbelievable.
There's something about the mood that it brings me in. There's something about the imagery. I just think it's romantic, and it gets me Zeus in love kind of music.
Okay.
I think it's the imagery, and it's something different. This is sensitive Gene.
It is.
I think Gene was dating Cher around this time.
I'm not sure, probably.
I think he was.
Okay.
Anyways, I think it's funny because I also brought up, and I don't know how accurate this is, the exchange between Paul and Gene at the end starts with the "You're my everything," right?
Yeah.
That, and because I have useless knowledge of about a million different things, that brings me to a Temptations song, "You're My Everything" by the Temptations, where the song is Eddie Kendricks, and then for some reason, out of nowhere, in comes David Ruffin, and then they go back and forth, one after another, and they both go note, note. Him with the smooth, silky voice, and the other one with the rough, manly voice, back and forth at the end of the song, and it's just fucking awesome. I know it's not a Kiss song, but if you guys like music, go listen to "You're My Everything" by the Temptations. David Ruffin, Eddie Kendricks singing the lead song on that, go back and forth at the end. That's what I think that exchange is. And it comes in right around this part of "You're My Everything." The exchange between Paul and Gene. I love that. I wish they did way more of that, Paul and Gene back and forth. It would have been so sweet.
I agree with that.
I love this song. Now, one part I want to bring up is the demo of this song is on the box set. The box set has 3 parts of Unmasked on it. It has Shandy, which sucks. It then also has Talk to Me, a live unreleased version, which is pretty good, right?
It is. Yeah, it is good.
Which all the songs from, I think, Unmasked are better live.
Absolutely.
Like all the disco kind of popish songs from Kiss are better live because it's all guitars and no keyboards. They sound way better live.
Yep.
The demo version of "You're All That I Want" is even better. It breaks it down, and Gene even, this is when he was saying that it came out around Love Gun that he wrote it. Gene did all the bass and acoustic guitar, rhythm and lead guitar was Paul, and drums, obviously, Anton. Gene says, Paul graciously offered to come down and help me do this demo. Gene says the demo kills the album version, and it sounds more like the band Free. I think the demo version breaks it down to more of a romantic, like dreamy, loopy kind of a song, even more Beatles-esque, I think, a little. And I can see what he was going for. And I just think it's a beautiful song, and I can't believe Gene wrote it. I mean, it's not very sincere when you hear Gene talking about you're my everything, you're all that I want. But it's fucking awesome. I just love it. It's very different. I think it's a great song. May not be a Kiss song, but it's a great song.
Yeah, so. I think the demo is amazing. And I think the demo, I mean, as much as I love, as much as I do, I mean, I like Unmasked. I like what it is, as is, okay? But when you hear the demo off the box set of You're All That I Want, it's like, shit, I wonder what this album could have been like if all the songs sounded as rough and raw as that demo, because the guitars are more pronounced. It's not as slick. It's not as poppy. It's not as, bubbly as everything that ended up on.
Kiss, the band in a room, performed these songs.
Correct.
Not fucking Paul brought in this. Hey, Vinny, play the fucking, grab Holly Knight. Hey, you, play bass on this. Hey, no, Kiss played these songs, starting off either on an acoustic or a regular guitar, and then they just all jammed to it and picked it up. Yeah. These could have been a hell of a lot better songs. Sounded different.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. Yep.
We'll never know. But that is Unmasked, a very polarizing album amongst the Kiss community and a very polarizing album amongst Shout It Out Loudcast hosts.
Absolutely it is.
Final thoughts?
Look, I'm on record. I legitimately and without irony, I like this album a lot. I find myself listening to it a lot. I like the Ace songs. I like, you know, the Paul songs are kind of okay. I think Gene has some strong songs. I don't know. I've grown to like this song. I don't know if it's as I've gotten older or what. I don't know. I find myself liking it a lot. Like I said, the choruses are extremely catchy. You know, it's not a rockin' album. You know, you're not going to see any shred guitar solos or anything like that. But I take it for what it is, and I enjoy it a lot.
This is one of the weaker Kiss albums, if not the weakest, in my opinion. But in some sense, it shows how awesome Kiss is and how much I love Kiss. That I still like it, right? I still like it.
Yep.
It's not something like, oh, I don't want to listen to it. It's just not as good as the other albums. That's all. So there is that positive, but compared to an album where I take what I might consider the third best song on this album, and then the third best song on this album might be number 8 or 10 on any other album for me.
Yeah. Right.
And that's the difference, and that's what I look at. Overall, disappointed in the cover, disappointed in the music, but it's a Kiss album, so I got to have my love for it. Now, we always do our rankings, Tomas.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go to the rankings right now?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so want to do the rankings for the songs.
Yes.
Let's do the songs first.
Okay.
Let me get my cheat sheet. I'm going to go first, or you go first. It's up to you.
You can go first.
Okay. My 11th song. This is going to prove. This whole section is going to prove how fucking different we are. My 11th song is Shandy.
Shocker. Shocker.
Sorry, Murph.
Oh, boy. Okay. My 11th song is What Makes the World Go Round.
My 10th song, Easy as It Seems.
Okay. You're not gonna like this. My 10th song is You're All That I Want.
I knew you were going there.
Yeah.
My 9th song, Tomorrow.
Oh, good Lord. Wow. It's like fucking Bizarro lists.
Yeah, number 9 for you?
Easy as It Seems.
There you go.
Close. Yep.
Number 8 for me. Bloop, 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 bloop. Torpedo Girl.
Oof. Okay. Number 8 for me, She's So European.
Number 7 for me, Talk to Me.
Okay. Number 7 for me, Shandy.
6 for me, oh my God, She's So Sita. I almost did it again. She's So European. Shandy, that's what it is. I can't do it. Say Shandy, then She's So European fast.
Shandy, She's So, yeah, I can't do it.
You're number 6.
Talk to me. Talk to me, you silly little freak.
Well, I don't think it's appropriate.
It's appropriate.
Number 5. Is That You?
Number 5 for me. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Torpedo Girl.
4. I found out.
Shit,
what makes the world go round.
What's wrong with you, dude? 4 for me is Naked City.
What?
Yep.
Number 3 for me. Yeah. 2 sides of the coin.
Oh man. What number was that?
3.
All right, number 3 for me is That You?
Number 2 for me, Naked City.
Okay. Number 2 for me is Tomorrow.
Ugh.
Oh, that chorus is amazing. Oh.
Number 1 for me, your number 10 song. You're All That I Want.
Wow. My number 1?
Yep.
Well, you know. Yeah.
Is it?
2 sides of the coin. Number 1.
I hit that in the number 3, Tom. So It's not bad.
Yep. Love that.
My number 1 through 11. You're All That I Want. Naked City. Two Sides of the Coin. What Makes the World Go Round. Is That You? She's So European. Talk to Me. Torpedo Girl. Tomorrow. Easy as It Seems. Shandy.
Oh, brutal. Poor Shandy.
Your list?
Two Sides of the Coin. Tomorrow. Is That You? Naked City. Torpedo Girl. Talk to Me. Shandy. She's So European. Easy as It Seems. You're All That I Want. What Makes the World Go Round.
Ouch. All right. So we just did Unmasked.
Yep.
So we've done other albums, right? So right. Let's check out our list. So let's do the covers first.
Okay.
Number one for Tom is Rock and Roll All Over, Gene Simmons, Dressed to Kill, Psycho Circus, Animalize. Where do you put Unmasked?
I'm going to put it. I like it a lot.
Put her in that fucking bucket.
Put her in that fucking. I like it a lot, but I'm gonna bump it to 4. So I'm gonna put it behind Dress to Kill.
Okay, so you're now going Rock and Roll Over, Gene Simmons, Dressed to Kill, Unmasked, Psycho Circus, Animalized.
Correct.
Right. Okay, that's fine. So my order is Rock and Roll Over, Gene Simmons, Dressed to Kill, Psycho Circus, Animalized. I think we have the exact same thing.
We do.
And I think I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm not a big fan of Psycho Circus, but I'm not a big fan of this cartoon stupid shit. So I'm going to move Animalized down. It's still the worst of them. And I'm going to put Psycho Circus above. So I'm going to go Rock and Roll Over, Gene Simmons solo, Dressed to Kill, Psycho Circus, Unmasked, then Animalize.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the album covers.
Okay.
Now we're at album itself, Tom.
Okay.
Now, so far, you have in this order, this is our 6th album review.
Yep.
You have Dressed to Kill as your number 1 album, Rock and Roll Over, Gene Simmons solo, Animalize, Psycho Circus.
Yep. I'm going to put this behind Rock and Roll Over at number 3, ahead of Gene Simmons.
And ahead of Animalize and ahead of Psycho Circus.
Psycho Circus is still last. Yep. So I'll have Dressed to Kill, Rock and Roll Over, then Unmasked.
And then Gene Simmons, then Animalize, then Psycho Circus is your least favorite album.
Yep.
Okay, my order is Rock and Roll Over, Dressed to Kill, Animalize, Psycho Circus, then Gene Simmons.
Oof.
This is Gene Simmons from Kiss. I just think of Craig Gass. I know. I think of Craig Gass every time I see Gene Simmons. This is Gene Simmons from Kiss.
He's so good.
I know. So I just love how fucking absurd all this Gene Simmons. Do you know if you go to kissonline.com, we got to get Craig on someday. I fucking get, oh my God. If I could put some of my ideas in his head to do Gene skits, oh my God. He is hilarious.
It's so stupid when he goes, this is Gene Simmons from Kiss, as if you don't know.
Well, there was the great 50s actress, Gene Simmons.
Oh, everybody knows her.
It was a woman, Gene Simmons, with a J. She was on all those Sword and Sandals movies, Gene Simmons. She was a big famous actress in the 40s and 50s.
All right, stop boring the audience.
Sorry, I know fucking the golden age of Hollywood, man.
Oh, God.
Told you I know useless shit all day. Well, I have a poster of them two side by side together. My album, again, Rock and Roll Over, Dressed to Kill, Animalize, Psycho Circus, Gene Simmons. Unmasked is going on the bottom.
Oh, come on.
I would rather listen to Gene Simmons from Kiss solo album than Unmasked. Yes. Rock and Roll Over, Dressed to Kill, Animalize, Psycho Circus, Gene Simmons, then Unmasked.
Holy fuck, dude. Wow.
Write better songs, and your songs won't be so corny.
Exactly. You won't be so horny. All right.
All right. Since this is going to be a 3-hour episode.
Yeah, I hope people are still listening.
Yeah. So, questions.
Yeah. Okay. So, question number 1 is from our friend on Twitter, Andy, who is a huge fan of the show, but he's also a huge music fan, and I'm also personally Twitter friends with him too. I think you might be too. He's also a big horror movie fan, so kudos to Andy for listening to our show and being a fan.
Sorry, we're putting all your personal friends on here.
That's right. That's why he's getting his question asked. So shut up.
How much to tell me about all these personal friends he has on here?
It's my personal private business here, so.
Apparently all you fuckers out there like to be personal friends with Tommy, but not me. Maybe it has to do with Tom has his name out there, and no one knows who the fuck
I am.
GNP Esquire is, and Zeus is the same person. That's all right. You guys favor Tommy. You go ahead. Go ahead. Shoot.
You know what you need to do? You need to create a new Twitter page, a Zeus Twitter page, and have GNP.
I don't have time to do all that stupid shit. Where else are you going to find me fucking retweeting a million anti-Donald Trump fucking posts all day?
Good point. It's a good point.
Yeah. All right. Starting that shit up all over again.
All right. So Andy asks, what if when Eric Carr and Vinnie Vincent joined Kiss, if they both took the Catman and Spaceman makeup? At the time, I bet people would not have cared as much as they do now with Tommy and Eric Singer wearing it. So so pretty much in short, if they just kept the 4 characters instead of creating new ones, what would have happened?
Oh, so like Eric Carr came in as a different Peter Catman.
Yep, and Vinnie Vincent took over the Spaceman, so that way people wouldn't be flipping out.
I think it would work 1,000 times more. Why? Yeah. Because the internet wasn't around to bring up and get everybody to fester together and to bitch about someone stealing Ace and this. We would have been used to it, and it's already been happening. Yeah, maybe there might be a small people like, oh, when Vinny joined, he never should have put on that makeup. But I don't believe that it would be an issue. I think right now Tommy would just be, Tommy's now the guitar guy. And Tommy would be fucking sleeping easy at night rather than getting bottle rockets shot up his ass when he walks up the street.
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. I think that was, obviously they couldn't see into the future at that time, but I think they wanted to keep it going with different characters and et cetera, et cetera. But once they had the reunion and they put the original makeup back on, I think that's when we saw the tide turn that, it's not Peter, it's the Catman. It's not Ace, it's the Spaceman. And you're right. I think the internet, social media would, in 1980, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a good question, though.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we got another one from a big fan of ours, Mr. Grayson Gallegos. He asks,
Grayson!
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a while. What album recording session would you have liked to have been a fly on the wall for?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I think, I know exactly what I'd be a fly on the wall for.
Go ahead.
Destroyer.
Oh, okay. All right.
With all the drama going on there, Bob Ezra had a fucking horn.
Okay, that's true.
And then Kiss didn't have the confidence to know what they're doing. Bob was running around yelling at him, doing that. But all 4 of those guys are fucking performing. The way that they could brainstorm and come up with those classic songs, or when fucking Bob told Paul to shut the fuck up, Bet's a good song. That'd have been awesome to hear all that shit. And then when Beth becomes a big hit, the look on Paul's face. Oh my God, are you shitting me? The drama, it's still just the 4 of them. It's not fucking, I would want the 4 originals and I want a fucking powerful. That or my second choice would have been maybe Rock and Roll Over, where fucking Eddie Kramer's putting people in a bathtub, and shit like that.
Yeah, I would have wanted to be. I would have picked an album that was kind of when the band was kind of a mess. So like Dynasty or even this one, Unmasked. Maybe not Unmasked because Peter was out of the picture, Dynasty, Peter was kind of out of the picture, but Ace was still involved a little bit. I'm kind of a fucking glutton for punishment. So, chaos, I kind of enjoy watching it. So either that, my second choice would have been the Lick It Up album with Vinny.
Yeah, that would have been another great one.
Because that was a kick-ass album. You got Eric on there. You got Vinny. The environment would have been kind of interesting there. So that's a good question. I mean, there's a potential whole episode on that kind of topic. So yeah, it's a good question.
No, absolutely, great question, Grayson. That was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
All right, what's up next? We usually go into our plug section.
Yeah,
go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, so everybody, you can catch us on all your favorite podcast places, Apple Podcasts. We like those 5-star child reviews. They help us very much, and we appreciate all the people that have already done those. Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Podchaser. We're on YouTube as well. You can reach out to us at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. And we're also, we always talk about the Pantheon Podcast Network. We're part of that great family of rock and music podcasts. And I want to give a special mention this week about Pantheon. We shared it on our social media today, but there's a podcast that's part of our network called the Muses Podcast, hosted by two fine ladies that they feature. Their episodes are about women in rock, women in pop. And this episode that they just dropped, I think it was today, features an interview with Lydia Chris. So if you haven't checked that out, it's Muses, Muses podcast, and it's part of Pantheon. And their episodes are great to begin with, but this one this week, definitely right up our alley with a Lydia Chris interview.
Yeah, and I was going to say, please spell that for our fans and listeners, please. So yeah, don't forget you can also find any merch that you might like of ours and other Kiss-related type merch on clicktshop.com, KLICKTEESHOP.com. Ed has the great stuff out there. If you're interested in any of our stuff or any other kind of Kiss-related items, take a look at his website. He's got tons of great stuff. And then, again, I'll leave it with Tom says, we always give you the email, but use it, guys. Email us your stuff. Email us your thoughts. Tell us what you think, what you like, what you don't like. Tell us that you think Tom's more handsome than me. I don't care. Tell us. Shout it out loudcast@gmail.com. Shout it out loudcast@gmail.com. And then don't forget those 5-star child reviews that you can give us on Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. Those help us a lot, guys, and we really appreciate it. And obviously, we'll give you a shout out if you do. So that being said, Tom, famous last words.
She still speaks with an accent from a week in Saint-Tropez. She makes love on her brass bed because her parents are still away.
What did I say to you about those parents?
I know.
Bastard. He's a dirty bastard.
He's a dirty old man.
Is he driving around in his fucking convertible with a shake in his hand while he's getting head over? Yeah.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Street vampire in the night. Young lovers and love at first sight. This is my flesh and my fantasy.
Good stuff.
Attaboy, Gene.
Yeah.
I love it that we both picked Gene songs.
Yep.
And he's only got a couple of them on this album. So
that's right. Yep.
That's right. So, Tom, thank you. Listeners, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this extended ranting Unmasked review. We had a lot of fun with this one. We hope you do too. So thank you.
Yeah, feel free to let us know what you think. All right? Peace out, Girl Scout. Woo!